Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to weeks 2 EA 101 critique session. If you haven't figured this out by now, this is a free session. Serve as a preview of what members are getting every week. At the same time, it's a way to introduce you guys and welcome you guys to the class specifically. If we have any concurrent students that are doing lighting, just a reminder, tonight, at least Pacific time, there's a session with Leo at 6 p.m. PST. You guys should have that pinned in your lighting channel. Again, this is open to everyone else as well. If you want the invite, let me know on the general chat, and I'll make sure to post it there. But if you're ever curious about the lighting class, maybe that's a good time to attend tonight if you guys have time. You guys are kind of in the budding part of your student career, so it's definitely worth it to try a couple of these classes. The only time I do say that just be careful on taking too many curriculums as the time goes on, because it is very comprehensive. You guys probably are figuring that out by now. The homework assignments for this class alone is a lot of time on top of whatever you guys are doing with your lives. So the best time to figure out, do you want to be a lighting artist? Do you want to be an environment artist? Eventually, we're going to add all these other curriculums. Is to try the first class, see how it feels, maybe a couple classes before committing to one curriculum in particular. Because when you do apply for jobs, you're either applying for environment artists or a lighting artist. So it doesn't hurt if you're an environment artist with some lighting knowledge, which we will go over in the environment curriculum. It's kind of necessary. But to be focused on lighting, to be a lighting artist, there's a lot of companies that exclusively hire just those guys. So again, on top of that, we have the Unreal curriculum, which is another thing. So the format for today is I'll spend maybe the next 5-10 minutes talk to you guys about general things, and then we'll go right into the feedback. So you can either post in the YouTube live chat or under the environment channel for questions. I'm going to reference both. And if there's time, or I'm having a hard time looking at your asset through images, I might ask you guys to upload FBX. But usually I can get by with just images. So before I start, is there any specific questions about the course or future? Any of that sort, please go ahead and post it. Let me go ahead and open Discord on my side if you guys are posting in there. So far so good. You guys are doing a great job posting in the channel here. So let me go ahead and share my screen so you can see what I'm seeing. All right, so I have the Discord channel up and I got the YouTube channel up on the side. So any questions that you need to ask, please ask them either or. So I'm going to go ahead and look at, all right, Marcin, he says, are we going to take bike models to final game ready assets or high poly sub D models for rendering? That's up to you. Eventually, I will probably use the bike as a sample project for texturing and retopologize and get more game-ready assets. The focus of this is, for this course, is to take your bike to high poly sub-D models, and you will render it. And if you scroll up, there's some pretty good examples of students who already completed this course last quarter that that you can see. And you probably have to scroll pretty high up, but eventually I'll have this posted on a student gallery of sorts so that you guys can get an idea of what this class will help you produce at the end of class. So at the end of class, you will have a render similar to this with your 3D model. And there's a lot of first-time students last quarter that did a great job, never using Maya like some of you guys, and others you're using Maya just a bit. But yeah, you can see here John posting some of his progress from last quarter. And you can see it's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. So as long as you guys stick to it, it gets tougher and harder every week as we go by, but these are the type of things that you're going to have by the end of week 7, right? At the end of week 7, I'm going to show you how to bring it in, do some basic lighting setup, but you can see with basic lighting setups and some materials assignment, you can get pretty good results. So that's why I kind of have you guys in this channel. If you just scroll up enough, you know, you're mixing with you know, more advanced students, advanced as in they're a quarter ahead of you, to help you guys out, as well as, you know, mixing with the new students. So it's a good mixture of the whole alumni, and which is one of our main goals for GSO, right? So GSO has always been to simulate what it would be like if you were going to an art school. Right? If you listen to the podcast, you listen to me talk, I often kind of shit on art schools for mostly because it's really expensive and you're not really getting the best talent to teach you. In a lot of the cases, there are some good talent, good teachers out there in some of these schools, but most of the case, you're stuck with someone who just given up or something in the industry, and teaching is kind of like, or they haven't really ever been in the industry. So you're getting a very sparse level of teachers and instructors. Yes, but the good thing is you have this community of friends that you go 3 years with, and you're progressing together. So the Discord channel is taking some care of that, that you guys are at least talking in there, that you're not feeling that you're doing this alone. Hence why we're doing it week by week, instead of just dropping all the videos at once and telling, like, here you go, just go ahead and do it on your own. It's less, we definitely want to teach you how to pace yourself as students. It's not so much that everybody knows how to take resources and be disciplined enough to do that. I mean, like, more power to you if you're one of those guys who are like, hey man, just give me the tutorials and I can learn on my own and progress and set my own schedule and get things going. Not everyone's like that, and so the way to structure the class is like, all right, what's the foundation students that need that type of help, discipline, and motivation? So that's why we set up the class. So definitely use Discord as much as possible. Post your progress every week. I think in the tutorials, I tell you guys to post it up there, and hopefully you guys are finding it useful. All right, let's go ahead. Praveen. So Praveen is gonna point you out here, Praveen. This is his second time taking the course, not because he has to, but he's just practicing, right? Because the second class to this curriculum isn't until September. And so if you guys ever have questions about being a member, about things that we talked about with this course, Praveen might be a good guy to talk to. Matt is another good guy to talk to. Matt is the first time taking the course, but he's been a member for a while, so he kind of knows what's up. So the reason why Praveen told him to do another bike and wait until September is mostly because the first quarter that we ran this was we ran this in March. So you guys who are taking it now, you're the second class that's taking this course. They started out with 150 students, right? And the first week came, and about maybe 70 students took the first week's class. And then as the week goes by, less and less people showed up on Discord to post their work. And I think by the end of the 7th week, there were about 6 to 7 people that actually finished. So there might be still some making progress on their own, but the ones that kept up was just reduced to 7. So 150 to 7. So I feel like the similar thing's going to happen with your guys' quarter or this semester. You might start off with a lot of people, but it's going to end up with a few. That's why we delayed the second class till September for a number of reasons, right? We're focusing on Unreal Curriculum right now, getting that set up, but at the same time, running the second class with just 6 students is kind of defeating the goal of what we want. We want at least 20 to 30. We're not asking for 100. 20 to 30 people is a solid number to progress. So just keeping that in mind. Are you going to be the 140 people that dropped out by the end of week 7 and did not finish? Or are you going to be the 7th people that actually follow through every week and stuck to it, right? And I'll wrap this up real quick and I'll go back to the feedback. But that's just, it reflects a lot on my experience at art school, both at teaching and being a student. And I want to hammer this in a lot of the times. If you guys have been in a couple of these scholar sessions, I always go back to this point. It is really tough getting into the game industry, really tough. Because the one that once you are ready to compete, once you ready are have a portfolio and compete, you're competing with the best. You're competing with the ones, not only that you just finish your art degree, you finish the 3-year commitment or 2-year commitment in our case for GSO. You're dealing. I talked about 150 to 7 people. Well, you're competing with the 7 people, and it's a friendly competition. I don't want you guys to step on each other's neck and backstab, right? I don't want you guys to. There's enough jobs. If 7 of you guys are really good and dedicated, 7 of you guys will get that job. But I'm just saying the competition just gets tougher and tougher, right? So it takes a certain amount of discipline and perseverance and confidence in your work and being able to repeat homework assignments on your own, like what Praveen is doing. This is the 2nd time making another bike, and the more times that he does it, the better he'll become. So after this, guys, we'll probably roll into the 2nd class, which is a ZBrush class, and there is you guys are, get first dibs on that, but there is a process where you guys have to show me your homework assignments to get approved to jump into the class, right? So you have to be good with Maya before I want you guys to take the ZBrush class. Why progress if you're not getting all the principles needed to move forward? So more questions later, but let's go ahead and dive into this. So Praveen, awesome block out. I think I made it pretty clear in the video that with blockout, just stick with primitives. The whole point of this week, for week 1 at least, or week 2, sorry, week 2 is to represent every part of your bike with the primitive, every part of your bike. So this helps you in a number of ways. And then I already pointed out that blocking things out is a way to plan out your days, right? A way to plan out the weeks going by. So instead of just looking at this picture and kind of guessing how long it'll take you, well, let's represent it with a block out. And now you know exactly how many pieces you need to make, right? So you need to spend this amount of time for the front of the bike, or the head of the bike, or the back of the bike, or the bottom of the bike. I have 6 pieces I got to do. Each of these pieces are pretty comprehensive and complex. So that gives you a good idea of starting to schedule your time, and it motivates you, right? As soon as you start detailing each of these pieces on its own, You're seeing your bike like starting to come into form, right? And it's all about setting yourself up for success. If every time you touch your bike and you see, even with this primitive, you're like, oh man, this looks pretty cool. The shape of the bike is there. I have it just represented primitives, and if it looks good, it's just going to look better from here on out, right? So Praveen, as far as this week's assignment, this is awesome. And I'll take a look at your FBX if there's time. But so far, so good. I think I know you're mixing up and being more creative with your bike, which is a great idea since you already have done a bike from reference. So far, so good. Let's see here. Warmo. So there's a question about for the stream. I struggle with the blockout phase, knowing what level of detail to go to. There were lots of small things near the engine that I couldn't tell what they were, so I left them out now. Is there a good rule of thumb of knowing how much detail to put on a block out? So the block out is primarily for this, right? It's about representing all the little small things on the frame, either with a box or cylinder. That's why I tell you guys to just stick with primitives, right? Whatever that shape represents the most, just put it there to represent how many pieces you got to model out. And so if you can't tell from your references what they are, that's a red flag right there. You need more references. So either go out and find that bike in real life to get the shots. That's why, guys, I encourage you guys to have access to a bike and do that bike instead of just surfing on the internet, because you're always limited. You're not going to get the perfect shot that you need to figure out a part of the bike if you don't have that access or that ability to get that bike for real. Then I definitely recommend just breaking apart what that bike has, like the parts of that bike, what kind of engine, this and that, and just search individually online to kind of help you out to figure it out. If you don't know what to search for, well, it's a good opportunity to learn more about your bike, which is do the research. How do you make that bike? And this is part of the process of a 3D artist, right? It's always kind of backward engineering. You're not in there rolling up your sleeve and figuring out how to put a bike together. Thankfully, we're digital artists. We don't have to go that in depth, but only helps, right? Learning how the bike operates and what everything does is going to help you become a better searcher online for those parts, and at the end be a better modeler, because now you have all your references and images that you search for right in front of you. So if you're ever stuck when you're modeling anything, right, it's just references. It really is that, right? You're just not having enough references. Right? It's not because you're not creative enough. It's not because you're not working hard enough. It's basically because you don't have enough references. So, Warmo, my advice is find out what those small pieces are, represent it in primitives as best you can, do more research, get more references. Let's see here. So yeah, so this is your bike, right? Exploring the FBX, my bike. This is great. Just go ahead and, like I said, if there are missing pieces, this is a good start. This is a really good start. So the torus right here that you use for the wheels, I would up the segments. It's okay, because you know what shape it is, and you can't smooth this. But in this case, you can commit to a higher resolution torus to make this more round, because it is sometimes difficult to get these edges to round them out, since you're not going to do too much editing to them, right? These can be blocky and fine because their shape is a little different. But you can see here with your lights, getting that type of roundness is fine for your wheels. And I'm sure you're still working on this, but just to comment to make sure, just even in your blockout phase, do your best to take care of these floating geometry, right? Just make sure these kickstand and all these steps and where the handlebar, connects, actually connect to help you, right? So you're basically building a skeleton for your bike. So the best way to represent that and to help you is just see where the connections are. So even if you have to jam this into the geometry, I would do that just to make sure, if this thing right here, the suspension is floating, that's because you don't have a bolt of some sort to connect this to the bike. So that's a piece missing. So I'm sure you're still working on the bike, and that's probably because things are missing. But go ahead and just start doing that. Just making sure everything's connected, even in the blockout phase. But so far, so good. Like everything, you're doing a great job. The main thing with blockout is just keeping the geometry even, right? These little squares, these polys, these tries, keeping that even as much as possible in the blockout phase will make it easier for yourself. Even the little box here, if you can straighten these lines out, keep things clean as much as possible, just straighten them out, it would look better. It's just a good rule of thumb to go by, just keeping things clean as you go. So even like straightening this out doesn't change that much. It's just when I look at your topology and stuff, this is the last thing I look at as an employer, is that I look at your bike without the wireframe, and then I go into wireframe, and that's when I start to expose your model, right? I'm looking at your model naked and seeing if the foundation and skeleton is solid. And so when I see like these lines that could be straightened and still retain that shape, it does make a difference a bit. So just as a habit, I would straighten those out. Combining objects, extrude modeling, so it's still the same mesh, or grouping the meshes. I definitely recommend, in most cases, to group the meshes so that it's non-destructive. I think I do show that to you guys by this time, so you guys should know how to group meshes. But the idea is that, unless the objects in real life are welded together, right? If they are welded together, like the bike is actually connected to each other, I would combine those to represent what it would look like. But if you can keep the models individual and just group them, it's the same thing, right? Grouping them and combining them is completely for the individual artist's taste, right? So when you do ship the game, you put it into the engine, everything's going to combine, right? But your work file, you're the only one that's going to touch it. You or your colleagues that are working on the same file will be the only one touching it. So work-wise, it's a lot easier to keep things separate because, you always backtrack. And like I said, non-destructive, meaning you can pull into an individual object. You can always separate later, but you kind of lose the rotation pivots and all that good stuff in history of that individual object. So I wouldn't combine it for those reasons. And extrude modeling is necessary once you guys advance in the third week and fourth week. I think we start doing extruding. Yeah, extrude modeling is definitely, you need to do that. So, but it really depends. Oops, sorry about that. So yeah, hopefully that is helpful. Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to look at images here. Matt, this is looking great. Great block out. Yeah, it looks pretty solid. And you guys can see here, like when I meant even in the blockout phase, having everything connected somehow. Like he just jammed the exhaust into this box. That's exactly what I'm looking for as far as blockout. It's just like, all right, this connects here. Handlebar, you know, if I rotate this actually connects, right? And, you know, you want to have it as much as possible to the real thing, even in the blockout phase, because it's going to help you, right, as your model. So if you guys have floating geometry, I definitely would recommend you guys revisit that and fix that, and so that, you know, it looks more grounded and realistic. So Matt, great job. It's looking great. Everything looks really solid. This is a great block out. Not too complicated. You went a little more detail. That's fine. It's completely up to you. If you guys get to block out phase and you have extra time during the week, yeah, skip ahead. Do some extra work. That's awesome. It's just going to make it easier for you guys. Okay, let's see here. Philip. Yeah, this is a great start. I feel like you're getting the good shape out of this. Yeah, there's a lot of curves, which is going to be a little bit more challenging than the blocky bikes out there, but I think you're doing a solid job. Just make sure, what's today? Thursday. You got a few days. Make sure, you know, just finish the rest of it. Commit time to yourself. There's a lot of questions of like, when exactly do you have to finish your homework? Like, there's no requirement, right? I do these weekly sessions for the members, and so, you know, usually it's on a Thursday or Friday. But you know, if you want me to look at your bike, the more progress you make, the better feedback I can give. So that's usually how it goes. But you have until Sunday, basically. I create these homework assignments so that, you know, these are the things that you should think about doing and finishing before the start of next week, basically, right? Because if you keep pushing it and lagging behind week by week, it's like pretty obvious that you're going to fall a little bit more and more behind. The homeworks get more and more intense, I think, in terms of detailing and, you know, some of your stuff. If you guys look at your bike, some of the objects are pretty complex, right? So it takes a little more time than sticking a box in there and calling it a day. So you got to keep that in mind. So as you guys are like doing the blockout phase, which is the most important aspect, I feel like without a good blockout, you're not going to get a good model. So spend a good amount of time getting that right. You know, make sure everything's connected, and most importantly, represented. Give yourself a realistic idea of how long this thing will take, right? So Philip, this is a good start. Make sure, you know, do your best to finish. Let's see, tire treads, yes, it's looking cool. Skipping ahead a bit, but Dane is coming from last quarter. So he's, I think he's still working on his bike, or he's just making another bike, or just practicing. Marchant submitted his bike. You see here, you know, he went a little further than the block out, right? He's starting to detail a bit, but the shapes are looking pretty solid. You see here, looking pretty cool. It's looking great. He recommended too, I was talking to him, if you guys haven't heard of Sketchfab, it's pretty much a way to upload your 3D model so that it can spin around. This might be a good alternative because it is free for you guys to do this. So this is a way for me to like spin things around without having to open up the FBX on my part. So I might do a tutorial on this to maybe for future homework assignments. Might be a good choice if you guys are interested. Just froze on me. Give me a sec. So I'm gonna wait for it to load. So if you guys have any other questions while it's reloading, go ahead and ask. Have you guys heard of Sketchpad? You guys have heard about it by now, right? You guys are somewhat connected to the community. It's a free site. You can upload your 3D models, and it gives you the ability to rotate, look at wireframes, and all that stuff. Yeah. So I might do a bonus lecture. Yeah. But if you guys already know how to use it, awesome. You know, I have nothing against using it for these homework assignments. It just makes it easier. I don't have to open up Maya. All right, here we go. So this is a good start. Let's see. So you can do a few neat things. You can wireframe it, change the wireframe, change the material, shapeless, lit. But I can look at your model as if I open up Maya. So this might be a good integration that we should think about for future GSO 3D modeling. I'm going to look at a lot of your props, so it'd be good to kind of just be able to open it up within Discord and rotate around. But yeah, this is a good start. Good block out. You know, obviously not finished for this block out. Just making sure everything's connected somehow. There's just some floating geometry, but not too bad. You know, just making sure how this part of the engine is nested in here, right? How exactly is it hanging on? Those things help. Even the blockout phase, it doesn't take that long to make sure that it's not floating, but it always helps as you're building the bike to have that in place, to have everything connected. So this is a great start. Just keep going. I mean, just keep working on the stuff. Yeah. So I just showed you guys how to do the display wireframe for Warmo, if you want to see that. But I think Mr. Flexen, I switched from Iron Lowrider. It's only one screenshot, but from what I can see from the screenshot, it is off to a good start. All right, it looks really busy, looking really cool. I like it. It looks great. Just keep going. This is good. You guys are doing a great job for the second week's block out. Doing the cool scooter. And obviously still starting, but just make sure you catch up and block that out for this week. So far, so good. Nothing so complicated here. I think that seems to be the most of it. So this is Dane doing the block out, and this is his second time doing the block out. Meaning he took the class last quarter, and this is his second attempt of making a more creative bike, which is great. Starting to get there. Very interesting shapes. But that seems to be, if you guys are in this session and I haven't scrolled up to your work, just go ahead and post it at the bottom so I don't have to keep scrolling up. But that seems to be the most of it. Do you guys have any questions regarding what I'm saying here? Let's see. Yeah, so that seems to be the bulk of it. As you can see, we have about, it's already happening, right? Look, the prophecy is true. I mentioned there's about 100 students for this quarter, new students for this quarter. We went over about 8 to 9 people that posted work for week 2. That number, and if I were to guess and kind of prophesize, would either stay the same at best or be less. And that's just the way things are. You guys got to get used to that. So the most important thing as a student at this point is to pay attention. Pay attention to the ones that are posting. The great thing about art schools and having physical schools is more than just learning the techniques and programs and whatever from the teachers, is getting to know the students, right? The people that you're taking class right now are going to be future employees of an awesome game company, right? So your networking starts now, and I think a lot of students kind of miss that opportunity a bit. That's why we created the Discord channel. So you guys need to pay attention to these channels, to the people who are producing work, good work, and talking to them the most, interacting with them the most, asking them questions, and building like a friendship. Even though you guys will probably never meet in person, who knows? Maybe we'll do like a GSO Europe event or something. But most likely you guys will never meet. But you know, exchanging contacts, being connected on LinkedIn, all that stuff, and being friends with the best students will always help you guys get and land that first job. So keep paying attention to the ones that posting. You can see a difference between week 1 and week 2, right? Week 1 was more about picking a bike. Very simple, right? It's the easiest homework. You would expect everyone would do it, but no, like you didn't see 100 people post a picture of what their bike is, and that's just online. You know, GSO is free. A lot of the lectures are free. All of the lectures are free, but even then, signing up is the easy part. Showing up in the first week is usually a 50% drop rate, and then even more percentage drops as the week goes by. So I'm telling you guys this not to demotivate you guys. All right. If anything, I'm telling you guys this to motivate you guys. If you're watching this video, if you're showing up to these free feedback scholar sessions, you're already ahead, right? This is what I'm saying. This is the extra mile that you have to go to distance yourself from the average student. These are different things. You got to look for opportunities. You got to look at networking opportunities. You guys are in there. Look at the names that are responding and talking in the chat rooms right now, and keep note of those guys. And it's no surprise some of those guys are members, you know, who want to get the most out of this. So it's a pattern basically, and the best way to have success is to simulate success. Look at the best students, look at the best practices of what would make it the best students, and copy it as much as possible. Like, oh, they're posting every week. Oh, they're posting on time. They're constantly putting work in progress on the Discord channel. They're always seeking to get better. They're always asking questions. They're answering questions. They're helping other people out. Like, some of you guys are living on Discord, which is something I love. I see you guys always interacting, which is awesome. I'm very happy for that. But you can see that. You can see that all the time. So, yeah, if anything, if you guys are watching this, if you guys are in the chat sessions right now, I'm really giving you guys what, you know, I've taught online, obviously, and I've taught at campuses. You know, I've been teaching for the last 3 years. I've been in the industry for 10 years. And students and professionals, right? You would think that all professionals are awesome. That's not true. You know, professionals sometimes are worse than some of the best students that I've had, just by work ethic. They're getting too comfortable and all that stuff, so they kind of fall off the wagon a bit. But the persona that I see that are the successes, both in the professional field and as a student, has always been the same. It's the guys that show up, that does the work and asks a lot of questions and help a lot of people as much as possible. I mean, those are the qualities that I see in replicating success. So hopefully you guys find this useful. And there's about 10-15 minutes left. I'm done with the feedback part. Hopefully you guys find that helpful. Again, this week has mostly been about blocking out. Most importantly, representing every part of your bike before Sunday, before starting the third week. So make sure you do that. And after you represent everything, make sure everything looks like it's connected. All right, figure out what connects to what, what's holding what. The primary thing I see a lot with these blockout is the engine is just like floating right there in the middle of the frame. You know, figure out how exactly that thing is hanging in there. Like it's not just floating in midair, right? Other than that, great job, guys. It's looking great. I'm glad you guys are getting a kick out of it, or at least enjoying it a bit and keeping up with it. Let me see. So Matt asked, how many students total will it take to continue the ZBrush course, if you know? I mentioned this a little bit. Ideally, I would want like about 20 to 30 students. You know, the more the merrier, but realistically, I think if you guys are doing a great job and everything, there's at least 7 to 8 solid students that are moving on probably to the ZBrush course. Again, there's a submission process before you get admitted into it, and these are just from the people who have taken the motorcycle class. Right, those are the only people I'm looking at. I'm not looking at it from the whole subscriber user base right now. I want you guys to take these classes to show that you're committed. So I'm going to look at all the homework assignments to advanced students to ZBrush, and ideally I would want like about 20 to 30. So yeah, so that is a plan to start probably mid-September, and it's about modeling a weapon in ZBrush. So learning the program, learning how to model within ZBrush from start to finish, to a high poly again, and then we'll do a render within ZBrush to make it look good. Let's see here. What other questions you guys have? Yeah, do you guys have any other questions that you would like me to answer? Again, interact with me on the environment channel. Interact with me on the live chat. Let's see, how many students are total? I mean, so it doesn't get this problem. Yeah, man, no more delays. I'm having problems where I keep the 4 hours. Any suggestion? Let me look at the Sketchfab real quick. So yes, Praveen, footrests. Depends. Let me look at your bike real quick. Your bike looks like a lowrider, so the footrest should be somewhere underneath the handlebar. I would feel would be appropriate, because you know the handlebar is over here, and so you're kind of doing this with your body to sit correctly. So I would look at a lot of those low riders and see where the footrest is to help with that. I know you're creating kind of your own bike, but just referencing low riders will give you a good idea where to put that footrest. I can't open your Sketchfab right now. I gotta make an account with Sketchfab. I think it'll take too long. But yeah, if you guys don't have any other questions about the course, this is a free session, obviously. Next week I'll have another critique session, and the members already know what dates. Let me know. I might. I'll do a promotional deal. I'll drop it in the environment channel. If you guys are interested in members, trying it out, want to continue having these feedback, hopefully you find this helpful enough to be curious. I'll do like a 50% off, maybe for the rest of the week. If you guys are interested, best time to buy in. And I'll drop it in the environment channel if you guys are interested. But what's cool this month is that we have a GSO workshop, and a lot of the members are already a part of that. So we have like a concept artist, and you're gonna see this in the newsletter. A concept artist who worked at Naughty Dog, who worked at Insomniac, who's working at Amazon right now. He's doing a workshop, basically showing you guys, the introduction to concepting. The video covers thumbnails, but attached with that, he'll do a 1-hour session on feedback, industry-related questions. So you have other people than me or Leo telling you guys about the industry or what it's like being a concept artist, which I have no idea about. Right? I'm not a concept artist, but this is a great opportunity. That's part of the members. Every month we do that. We bring in other scholars through this program. So that alone is pretty cool, to talk to a guy who's worked at these awesome companies, get his opinions about just environment. It is related. He is an environment concept artist. It is related to you guys. If you guys have never drew before, it's a good opportunity to kind of get your hands wet with that. So I'll drop it on the environment channel for if you guys are curious about the membership. That's probably the best opportunity to do it. We don't do discounts that often, but I do want you guys to think about it if you guys are curious. If not, completely optional. This might be the last time I see you guys until next quarter, which is fine. You'll still hear my voice, obviously, through the tutorials and stuff. And if you're motivated enough and disciplined enough, you can still progress without any scholar input. So don't want you guys to be forced. It's just an option, right? It's just an option. So with that, do you see any other delays after the ZBrush course? Yes, I do see delays. So, we're working on Unreal curriculum right now. We're making sure that is set off right for it's starting out next week, and that's going to be a whole big thing. That's I think our most comprehensive curriculum, because it's the one that you're actually making a game, right? All these curriculums about being a part of making a game. Well, the Unreal curriculum is about making a game with fellow students. Hopefully there aren't any more delays at the ZBrush. I feel like if you're good enough to complete the first course, then most likely you'll stick through it for the second course. But I wouldn't be surprised if a couple people drop from that. It gets too hard. People, when they hit a wall, they often give up. That's why I do recommend the scholar sessions and the members, because getting feedback, if you're stuck, being able to reach out to us. I try to answer as much on Discord as much as possible, but my time is very limited, obviously, and so I got to put that to when people are serious, right? I like to talk to students that are really serious, and so having that type of feedback helps move things along. So hopefully ZBrush course isn't so intimidating where you guys got to that point and drop out. Hopefully you stick to it. If you guys all stick to it, if like 80 to 90% of the students stick to it, then the next course will open up. All right. We'll try our best to not delay things, but again, I don't like making courses for just 3 people. I know it's bad for those 3 people that actually tried hard, but we're in beta phase. We're trying to right, how do we get these guys not to give up? And maybe that's just the way it is. I mean, getting in the industry is hard, and if you're giving up at this stage of learning, it isn't a bad thing. I'd much rather you guys give up with GSO, right? It's like, hey, I was interested in making games, making games is really hard. I don't know if it's for me, right? You take a quarter of it, then it's too hard. Oh, ZBrush is too hard. I don't want to do it. That's awesome, because students like you guys at this stage of giving up, when they get to the first ZBrush class, they paid for at least a year worth of classes. That's like about 25 to 30 grand in debt already. So if you guys can do that with GSO, which is awesome, right? We want that. It sounds like we're endorsing people giving up. No, we're endorsing people giving up, but without spending a lot of money. I'd much rather you guys be free. You know, if you guys want to opt in to the $10 membership, cool. You talk to a teacher, industry professional, veteran, or whatever, and asked about the industry on all this stuff, and still get turned off from that. And it's like, I don't want to be in the industry anymore. It sounds too tough, or it's not as interesting as I thought it would be. Awesome. You spent so little money. You can walk away from it, continue the life that you had before. And that's the whole thing, right? That's the whole point of GSO. It's like, I don't want you guys to be in. I have so many friends, and I know so many students that are spending $90,000 to $100,000 and all that stuff, and they don't want to do it anymore midway, but they're stuck, right? You exit now, you got to start paying back $50,000 right away. And those people that do graduate just end up working at a burger place or just regular jobs to help pay off the debt. Don't want you guys to be in that situation, right? We're trying to change that. That's the one ugly part about the game industry I do not like. So yeah. So golden heaven, for me, what's keeping me back is the universe. While doing this course gets hard. Yeah. Well, that's commendable. You're already going to school. I don't know if you're going to school to for this. Is it another curriculum? Are you majoring in something else and just doing this as a hobby? It definitely gets hard balancing all this stuff out. It takes a lot of time. So I'll type in the name of the concept artist in the chat room. Brian Yam is the concept artist for the workshop. He's currently at Amazon, but he's worked at Naughty Dog and Insomniac. Worked at a lot of awesome companies. Has a lot of good work. I think he has an art station up. You can probably just Google him. Awesome concept art with a ton of knowledge. He's been a lead on a lot of those projects too. So he, it's not just a senior. He's a lead. Praveen, you're asking, can it be an environment providers for Unreal course? Yeah. So as you guys take the Unreal curriculum, all these things will be answered. But yes, the whole idea is like picking a role within making a game and sticking to that to the end. So if you're taking the environment course, the whole idea is that you're not supposed to try 10 different disciplines, right? It's the idea is like if you're taking the environment curriculum and you are enrolled with the Unreal curriculum, hopefully you are doing the environment part. Same with lighting, right? If you're the lighting guy, you stick with the lighting part. As GSO progress, when we add animation, when we add rigging, when we add character artists, and we add concept artists, the Unreal curriculum will change and adapt to that so that it becomes more and more of full production. But yeah, as we're starting out, a lot of the guys will be most likely prop artists and some level designers because we're going over blueprint stuff as well. Yeah, so okay, cool. You're becoming a software engineer. Awesome. That's if you stick to both, and I know it's hard. It gets really tough for sure, balancing things. Even going through art school and stuff, you're taking like 8 classes. Yeah, and that's why we're trying to create an alternative. The truth is, when you get in the industry, no one looks at your degree. Unless you're a software engineer. If you're a programmer, all they do is look at where you came from and how you can code and all that stuff. So it's very important. Stick to it if you want to be a software engineer. But when it comes to other disciplines, no one looks at your degree. No one has asked for my degree when I'm applying for jobs. They look at my portfolio and where I worked. So that's why we created GSL. That's the whole point. But hopefully you guys find this useful. if you're, I'm going to end the session. It's already 1 hour at the 1 hour mark. Be active on Discord, and make sure to do your homework. You know, keep up the good work, motivate each other, pay attention to the ones that are actually doing the homework, because those are the ones that are actually pretty good, right? And most likely will stick with it. We'll try our best not to delay, but we're trying to do the no people left behind mentality. Not to the extremes, like if you're the worst student, we're trying to like make sure you're awesome. No, what we're saying is that we're providing, you know, we're constantly looking at the course. Is it too hard? Is it too easy? And why are people dropping? At a certain point, is, you know, there's not much more we can do, right? If you're not doing the work, that's your decision, right? Nothing I can say or do can make you do the work. And we might just move forward and, like, you know, graduate the best students. And the truth is, guys, you know, at least for the environment curriculum, Leo can comment on the lighting curriculum, but at least on the environment curriculum, out of these two classes that have taken the courses, you know, you guys and the last guys, I'm estimating about maybe 4 that are going to finish. Yeah, that's my hard estimation, and that's what I've seen. Like 4 people will stick to it and will get jobs. That I guarantee. If 4 of you guys stick to it, produce good work, do the homework assignment, and you're being passed to the next course, you're at a point where I can say that if you finish the last class of this curriculum, you're most likely going to finish and apply for a job and get that job. Yeah. So, yeah, keep that in mind. So I'll drop a link on environment channel if you guys are interested in the members. Other than that, if I don't see you guys next week, there is a critique session for members next week, and that's open to all types of questions. But if you guys aren't in that, then I'll see you guys at the next open orientation when we welcome the new students. But there is one more free session, which is later tonight, Pacific time, with lighting. I recommend you guys to sit in on that. You know, lighting and environment are pretty closely tied together. You know, environment artists, most lighting artists start out as environment artists. So, but right now, you know, the companies are more and more having a separate lighting department, because the games are getting so big and lighting is becoming such a beast to learn, and nuances. So it's not so easy where you just place the light and everything looks good, right? There's a whole thing about it. So recommend you guys sitting in on that later if you guys can make it. It's free, it's live recorded, and everything if you can't. So good luck, guys. I'm signing out.